Hello everyone and welcome back to Aero. Today in this video I will be talking about RVSM, which stands for Reduced Vertical Separation Minima. We will learn about what is RVSM, why is it important, and what are the requirements. But before we begin with the video, kindly consider to help us by subscribing to our channel. So let us get started. Reduced vertical separation minimum is the reduction from 2000 feet to 1000 feet of the standard vertical separation required by an aircraft flying between flight level 290 and flight level 410. This reduction in vertical separation minimum therefore increases the number of the aircraft that can fly in a particular volume of a controlled airspace, and the level of control varies with the different classes of airspace. Earlier, before the implementation of the RVSM in the late 90s, the standard vertical separation of an aircraft was set at 1000 feet from the ground, or say sea level, to flight level 290, and at 2000 feet above the flight level 290. Now you must be thinking that why was RVSM implemented? What was the need for RVSM? Well, the answer is simple. A larger minimum separation was necessary because of the limited accuracy of the altimeters, which were used to determine the altitude by measuring the air pressure, which decreases with the height. But doing so without compromising the safety requirements of the equipments and the inherent difficulties in accurately determining and maintaining the aircraft altitudes was challenging. So it was until the early 80s that air data computers, altimeters, and autopilot system became sufficiently accurate to safely reduce the vertical minimum separation. Now, RVSM was implemented as a means to increase the airspace capacity. It extends from flight level 290 up to flight level 410, including the two flight level itself. The International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) first implemented RVSM in all of the Europe and over North Atlantic in March 1997. The entire Western Hemisphere implemented RVSM by January 2005. Now let us discuss its importance. Well, RVSM is a natural traffic solution for the increased demands of air traffic worldwide, especially in the congested airspace such as Southeast Asia, Europe, North America, and North Africa. RVSM provides the airspace with more flight levels, more possibility to optimize flight profiles, meaning the possibility to fly at or as near as possible to optimum altitude. It increases airspace capacity, which in turn reduces ATC delays. So before the implementation of RVSM, the aircraft fly with a vertical separation of 2000 feet above the flight level 290, that is flight level 290, flight level 310, flight level 330, and so on. But with RVSM, the aircrafts now fly with a vertical separation of 1000 feet above the flight level 290, that is flight level 290, flight level 300, and flight level 310, and so on up to flight level 410, which means that an aircraft flying above the flight level 410 still flies with a separation of 2000 feet. Therefore, RVSM is implemented from flight level 290 up to flight level 410. Now the question is, do all the aircrafts fly within the RVSM airspace? Well, the most direct answer is no. Only the aircrafts with specially certified altimeters and autopilots may fly in the RVSM airspace. Otherwise, the aircraft must fly lower or higher than the RVSM airspace or seek special exemptions from the requirements. Moreover, both the aircraft and its crew must be trained, approved, and certified to operate in the RVSM airspace. Furthermore, aircrafts may be particularly checked and monitored periodically once every year or on 1000 flight hours, whichever is earlier. These are the following requirements to fly in the RVSM airspace. Two independent altimeters with a tolerance of not more than plus minus 200 feet, two air data computers, autopilot system with altitude hold function, altitude alert system, secondary surveillance radar transponder with mode C or above, long range navigation systems such as INS, IRS, or GPS, and lastly, flight crew approved training, or operation specifications approval. Now it is the responsibility of the ATC to ensure that the aircraft fly in the altitude set by the minimum vertical separation. Therefore, to make the aviation safer and to make the controller's life easy, a system called semicircular rule is adopted to allocate flight levels. So let us understand how this system works. As the name suggests, the system is based on the semicircular rule irrespective of where the aircraft is flying. If the heading of the aircraft is between 000 degree to 179 degrees, then the aircraft is allowed to fly only in the odd levels, that is 1000 feet, 3000 feet, 5000 feet, 7000 feet, and so on till 41,000 feet. And this region is termed as easterly region. If the heading of the aircraft is between 180 degrees to 359 degrees, then the aircraft is allowed to fly only in the even levels, that is 2000 feet, 4000 feet, 6000 feet, and so on till 40,000 feet. And this region is termed as westerly region. Now one important note here that this rule is applicable only for the aircrafts flying at or below 41,000 feet. So let us understand with an example. Consider two aircraft flying within the easterly heading, say 090 degrees. So the aircraft can fly only at odd levels, say 29,000 feet and 31,000 feet. Again consider two aircraft flying in the westerly heading, say 270 degrees. So they can only fly in even level, say 30,000 feet and 32,000 feet. So you can see that this automatically ensures a minimum separation of 1000 feet between the aircraft flying in the opposite directions. If you take a closer look, you can see that if two aircrafts are flying in the same direction, then they are automatically separated by a minimum distance of 2000 feet. Similarly, if an aircraft is flying above 41,000 feet, then the aircraft in opposite directions are automatically separated by 2000 feet and in the same direction are separated by 4000 feet. So this is where I conclude this video, and I shall discuss more about the VFR and IFR in further videos. So if you have any questions regarding RVSM, feel free to mention them in the comment section. Also, if you find this video informative, do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Share it with your friends and colleagues.